What's up, everybody? This is Crowbar, and today Crowbar is ready to talk to you guys for a little bit. So, E3 just happened quite recently. It's finally now all wrapped up. Nintendo closed out the show, and a couple of you guys have talked to me and asked me what I thought about particular things and particular games, and I figured rather than trying to field that multiple times on stream, I'll just make a vlog about it as quickly as possible. Up front, I apologize about the lack of the normal vlog setup. I'm probably going to slap some background music on this and ship it because I'm running low on time, and I'm still working on uploading the other videos that are going to be live when I'm on vacation. I am actually, today is Wednesday, that is when I'm recording. I leave for vacation at 3 a.m. tomorrow. I'm going to go through the show in presentation order, the way that they aired. And if a game is talked about more in depth in another presentation, I will save it for then. So if you saw a game in a presentation that you wanted talked about and I don't when I get to that point, don't worry, it's probably still coming. And where I can, I will give you guys some visual aids. But this is going to be a quick and dirty video. If you are interested in and excited about a game that I don't talk about or I'm not excited about, don't worry about it. Like what you like. This is not a objective thing. This is just the things that I saw that made me go like, ooh. And I'm gonna talk about most of the stuff, even if they're things that I'm not super interested in. And I'm just gonna introduce the game, say what I think about it, and move on, because we got a lot to get through, and I still gotta edit this and get it up before the end of the night and before I stream later today. So, without further ado, let's start with EA. Oh, one last caveat. I didn't watch the show. I've seen some highlights, and I've seen all the games that were talked about more or less. There's probably some that I missed that slipped through my radar. That didn't get major presentation time. So as far as like most entertaining or anything like that, I have no opinion on that whatsoever. EA started off with Battlefield 5. So I still super love destructible environments. I remember back when I played Halo 2 regularly with some friends in high school, the thing that we always wanted was the ability to blow holes like out of the side of a building or something like that. It's like, I've got a rocket launcher, why can't I make a hole here and shoot at people? Or why can't they shoot at the floor underneath me and knock it out? So destructible environment, super cool. I like the look of the story. I like that there are some women characters, both in what look like the standard battle mode and in the major story. They seem to be playing a very major part, and I like the strangely out of character, very hardline stance that EA is taking, where it's just like, if you don't like women in your Battlefield games, don't buy these games anymore. Like that sort of that's awesome. I love it when companies are willing to just take a stand, and EA in particular has so much clout to swing around. It's nice to see them use it. All that said, I probably won't be playing it. Battlefield just really isn't my game. Maybe sometime I'll give it a shot, but it's not going to be on my top list of things to get from this show. Jedi Fallen Order. So this has no information about it really whatsoever, except that you will be playing as a Jedi. It will take place between 3 and 4. Basically, as far as I can tell, kind of in the same nebulous dark age that Force Awakens took place in. I'm down with it. I like playing Star Wars games that are like Jedi focused. I would really like it if this is sort of more stealth based Jedi stuff, but I'm down. I was super bummed when Star Wars 1313 got canceled. It looked really cool. I don't think this is going to be anything like that, but I would like a new Star Wars game that isn't Battlefront. Battlefront 2 getting the Clone War expansion. Don't care. Unravel 2. So this looks so goddamn cute, and I remember the first Unravel getting pretty good responses from people. It's just one of those games that sort of passed me by. I believe I played like a demo of it or maybe like a first level at some friend's house, but I never finished it. I would expect to see Unravel 1 on stream at some point, and possibly even Unravel 2 co-op with Miss Media, because I feel like she's really gonna like the feel of it. It seems like a game that's right up her alley, so I think she'll like it, and we might play together. Sea of Solitude. So this looks like a really cool indie game. Supposedly, according to the dev and the bit of presentation I was able to find, it's about the concepts of like depression and loneliness, and I'm very intrigued on how that works and how it's going to play out within the game. Visually, it looks gorgeous. I'm very down with the art style. Speaking as someone who has dealt with depression but not chronic depression, I had a very dark period towards the end of my high school days and my early adulthood, and I personally was able to heal and move past it, and it doesn't super affect my life anymore. So I'm curious how this game will impact me, because loneliness actually was a very large part of why I personally had some depression problems. So I don't know if I would find it very poignant or very missing of the mark or soft-handed or hard-handed. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll probably play it though. Command and Conquer Mobile. I don't know what its actual tag name was. This seems like a tremendous waste of your time and money. Don't get this game. Anthem. I'm pretty intrigued by Anthem. It strikes me very much as like a trying to compete with Monster Hunter and Destiny at the same time, and it seems like it might have a chance at doing that. It looks like the story might be slightly more focused and a little less nebulous, which I think is good, because I feel like that's the weakest part of Destiny, is its like interesting story that's locked behind grimoire cards and weird item descriptions and stuff like that. It tries to do the Dark Souls thing and doesn't pull it off quite as well. But yeah, I always thought Destiny looked fun to play if you had a group to play with, and this looks like it's kind of the same thing. I really hope that Anthem is playable single player. But if it isn't, maybe I'll be able to put together a big enough team to play it regularly on stream or something like that. I don't know. It reminds me of Monster Hunter in the sense that, like, in Monster Hunter, you roll a character and you can change your weapon, which effectively changes your class at any time. And the exosuits being how your class handles, I like. So you can design a character once. You're not locked into it like Destiny is, where you have to roll different characters for each character class. So if you go to do a quest and it's just like, oh, we need more tanks for this, then somebody who is good at being a tank but doesn't main a tank can swap their main exosuit out for a tank and give you a buff. And I like that. The ability to play with your friends regardless of what you guys first picked as your class, I think is worth the slightly less determined class structure. So I give it a big thumbs up. I think it looks really cool. FIFA 19. What is this sports ball you talk of? Not a game update, but a new version of Origin that's a subscription service. I feel like this is basically exclusively going to exist so that they can get people to pay for their old games again. There is a contingent of EA's fan base that wants to play the old Sims games, like The Sims 1 and all its expansions, The Sims 2 and all its expansions, and those games are very, very difficult to get to work on modern hardware. I would not be surprised at all if the way they pull people into this thing is by offering their old catalog, as well as some new stuff with this subscription service. That being said, Origin isn't quite the nightmare of a program that it once was, but I'm not exactly chomping at the bit to pay someone money to put a crappy program on my PC. NBA Live and the new Madden game. See, again, I say it. Why you need so many sports balls? Why so many shapes? What do they all do? Leave me alone. And that wraps it up for EA. Pretty modest showing as far as like number of games, but that's really only in comparison to the other shows. And what they did announce looks pretty solid. I'm down. The Microsoft conference. So I'm going to preface this right up front. I do not have an Xbox of any kind. So anything that is Xbox system exclusive, I'm not going to be as excited for, and I'm sorry about that. Please don't take it as a reflection on the quality of what the games look like they are. It's just a personal thing. It's hard to get engaged when I'm probably not going to get to play a thing. That might change in the future if I start playing on PC more often. I have promised Skibbs that I will get a goddamn Steam account so we can play some stuff online together. Yeah, we'll see. Out the gate, they drop Halo Infinite, which makes sense. Halo sells money. Halo sells units. Units sell systems. It's a good thing. It looks pretty enough for a Halo game. It doesn't look a ton better than the last one that I saw. In fact, the little bit of in-game footage with the driving looked a little kind of out of date to me, but I might be wrong. I have no idea what's going on with the story because I stopped paying attention back in Halo 3. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. This looks like it's going to be a sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest, which was an exclusive from the 360 era that I desperately wanted to play. It just looked so damn pretty. It still looks so damn pretty, and it's probably heartwarming as hell, and it makes me sad that I probably won't get to play it. That said, this might actually be one of those games where if they drop it on Steam, I might have to pick it up. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. So this game got confused with another game that showed up in the Sony presentation. And I'm going to start off by saying, Neo didn't really do anything for me. It was kind of described by a lot of people as Samurai, but Dark Souls. And I thought that that would be great, but I found it just sort of clunky. I didn't really like the combat system with the transitioning from high to low to mid stance, and it seemed simultaneously overcomplicated and not varied enough, and it just didn't really do anything for me. That said, Sekiro looks great. From what we can glean from the trailer, it looks like you are like a personal shinobi to some sort of feudal lord, and in the opening, that lord gets kidnapped and you lose your arm, but you don't die, and it gets replaced with this sweet, like, bone grappling hook arm, which also, this is being made by From Software, I should say, like the Dark Souls people, and it's not an exclusive, so I'm allowed to be excited about it. It means that we're gonna get good traversal mechanics in a From game, which I'm so goddamn stoked about. It also looks like stealth, because this is, instead of being Samurai plus Dark Souls, this is Ninja plus Dark Souls, and it looks like stealth is actually quite important. And you can dispatch a lot of enemies by being effectively stealthy, and I love that. I love stealth games. Expect to see this on stream at some point. Fallout 76. Get in my eyeballs. But we're going to talk about this more come the Bethesda conference. The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. This looks cute. I really like games that effectively make me feel like playing as a kid isn't awkward, and this looks like it might pull that off. Looks like a cute story about a kid with a very active imagination. It's set in the Life is Strange universe, and I haven't played any of the Life is Strange games, so I'm not super invested, but it's free, so that's kind of cool, so maybe we'll give it a shot, I don't know. Crackdown 3. This is an exclusive I probably won't play. I've never really played a Crackdown game, and I heard that 2 kind of shit the bed a little bit in comparison to how much fun 1 was. Or maybe I've got that backwards, I'm not sure. Seeing Terry Crews is goddamn great. If you can't actually play as him, I'm gonna call shenanigans immediately, because Terry Crews shooting exploding like rubber ducks at people is amazing. So that's great. Great presentation, probably not something I'm playing. Metro Exodus. So I've never really been a big fan of the Metro series. They just have never fully grabbed me. I have always really liked the idea of, like, in a shooter, and especially in like the post-apocalyptic one, using bullets as money, as currency, is very clever, and I dig that. But the game themselves, I have always found sort of like bleak for bleak's sake, and I don't know, it just never really grabbed my interest. I don't effectively know why I've gravitated towards Fallout over Metro, because they are quite similar, but it just never fully grabbed me. So that being said, this Metro looks like it might have a bit more appeal. It looks like they've taken out the bullet currency thing, at least by the amount that you were shooting in the trailer. Maybe that's gone, I don't know. Or maybe it's just not as much of a thing anymore. And it looks like they've sort of genericized the shooting a little bit. It looks a bit more like your standard shooter, but it still has all the trappings and the unique creatures of a Metro game. I don't know, it just caught my eye this time, so it's not something that's high on my list, but I wouldn't mind playing it if it ends up being non-exclusive. The Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. I have lots to say. Maybe not in this video, but I have lots of opinions. But we'll talk more about that during the Square conference. Forza Horizon 4. I have never personally ever, like, actually enjoyed a Forza game. This one is not going to change my mind. I don't care. In non-game news, Microsoft did announce the formation of a new indie studio of their own making and the purchase of 3 existing indie studios. Undead Studios, makers of State-of-Decay, Playground Games, the people who make the Forza Horizon games, Ninja Theory, who makes Hellblade. Oh, and there was a 4th that I missed as well. Compulsion Games, who are making We Happy Few. So, from an objective standpoint, I can see why they made this choice. It seems like very good business for Microsoft. I hope to God it is good business for the indies, because all of these guys, despite me maybe not being super thrilled about any of their games in particular, State of Decay looked good, but I couldn't play it. Hellblade looked good, but I never got around to it. I said my piece on Forza. I was actually quite interested in We Happy Few, but I think it's an Xbox exclusive. All that being said, they all make good products and very entertaining games, and so I hope they aren't like assimilated into Microsoft or shut down. I hope this goes well for them. That being said, I really don't like exclusives on any platform. Sony actually got a bunch of exclusives this year, which I will actually get to play because I have Sony consoles. I still don't get it. I don't think it's actually good for the developer to have to limit their player base like that. And I don't really understand why at this day and age we don't have crossplay between systems. But, you know, that's the perfect world in which I wish I lived. That is not this world. So I guess good on you, Microsoft. It still just makes me a little bummed out that you bought all these things just so that you got exclusive games, which kind of like pulls entertainment from the rest of the industry. But that's that. That's the world we live in. The Division 2. Didn't really care about the first one. Don't care about this one. I will talk about it a little bit later in a later press conference. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Again, we're gonna have to wait until Square Enix because I have some things to say. Session. Is this Skate under a different name? Because if it's Skate under a different name, I am all the fuck in. If it's not, I am a little wary because the last major skateboarding game that we got was a Tony Hawk game that perhaps reminded the industry that skateboarding games aren't the easiest things to make, and they mismanaged it to hell and just made me wary of the subgenre of skateboarding games, so we'll see. I'm definitely going to want actual reviews before I buy something like that. Devil May Cry 5. So I have some mixed feelings on this one. I really enjoyed what I got to play of the DMC rebranding that Ninja Theory did. I think it was Ninja Theory anyway. I thought it was really fun. I thought the new Dante was more fitting for our time period sort of thing. Old Dante kind of is a bit of a tool in modern day. Not that he wasn't before, but he's more of one now. So going into this, I thought that it was a sequel to that game, so I was kind of excited because the combat and the inter-gameplay actually looks like it's pulling a lot from the DMC rebranding. But this is apparently just a straight-up sequel to Devil May Cry 4, which I did not like very much at all. The character who I thought was Dante through most of the trailer actually is Nero, and Dante shows up at the stinger at the end, and he looks old, and I don't know. I'm not really sure how I feel about it, but I guess we'll see. The Cuphead expansion. Super happy for the game devs that this thing is still doing as well as it is, and I am forever in awe of the artistry and animation prowess that is in this game, but I just don't care. It's not my style of game. It's not for me. I hope that the people who love that thing are ready for it, because it looks like it's gonna be hard. And hey, Miss Chalice looks really cute, so that's cool. Jump Force. Silly name, looks very silly, but makes total sense. Bandai Namco has a fighting game for almost every single one of these franchises. Why not smush them all together? And the fact that it's a shared universe that seems to be colliding with Earth means that you can balance stats in such a way that Goku doesn't have to be the most powerful character. He very well may still be, but he doesn't have to be. So we'll see. Dying Light 2. So Dying Light 1 did not do much for me, and I don't know why. Like, I loved, Mirror's Edge, and I loved zombie survival games, so zombie survival first-person parkour game should be right up my alley. It just didn't interest me. This does, on a major level. I like that it's set in Paris. That's really cool. I like that it's set in the same universe, so it's possible that major events of the previous game could come to affect this one. I really like the idea that your decisions matter. I love game worlds that change based off of what you do. But that being said, we have been promised this sort of thing in the past, and it very rarely fully works out that way. So I hope that it's not all just smoke and mirrors like they showed in the trailer, where it's like you could go with like the Peacekeeper faction, or you could go with the smuggler guys, and it's like the Peacekeepers help you out a lot, but they're very kind of totalitarian, and eventually you might find yourself on the wrong side of them, and you would have helped them get stronger, so that could be problematic. That seems really interesting. But on the flip side of things, like if you help the smugglers instead, you fuel the black market in the area, which draws useful resources to you, but at the cost of bringing really bad people to your area. And that's nothing to say of the zombies themselves. It looks like it could be incredible, but it also looks like they could be promising the moon here, so I'm cautiously optimistic. Battletoads. Seriously? Did someone actually think this was a good idea? Like, this screams middle marketing decision to me personally. Who knows? Maybe it's too early to say. They didn't actually really release much information. This could be a Shaq Fu thing, where like they're not taking the game as seriously as it once was, and they're playing it up and making it silly, and they're remaking it into an actual entertainment product. But this smacks to me of the Bubsy remake, that it's like someone somewhere in middle management was like, oh wow, you know, there's all these videos on YouTube of all these big gaming channels playing Battletoads, and they seem to all love it, and it's just like, oh, well, we still own that, right? Well, let's just make another one. That's the vibe I currently get. I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I'm feeling at the moment. Just Cause 4. Whew, Rico is looking good. We'll talk about that more coming up. There's a new Xbox coming. Duh. What? Why is that news? Okay, moving on. Cyberpunk 2077. Holy shit, this looks good. So CD Projekt Red, despite some of the negative press that they have gotten, much like most gaming studios that reach a certain size, they basically don't turn out bad products. I don't think they have actually made a bad game. This looks phenomenal. The world looks so well thought out. They released the default look of the both female and male playable characters. They look so cool. Everything in this trailer just sucked me in. For a small bit of time, I was really afraid that this was going to be an exclusive and I'd never get to play it, but it doesn't look like that is the case. And in fact, this might very well be the game that eventually convinces me to upgrade to a pro console or something like that. This so far is my favorite announcement. It looks so good, and it's brand new IP, and I can't fucking wait. Nier Automata is being ported to the Xbox. Doesn't affect me, I already own it. Sea of Thieves is getting 2 expansion packs. So this doesn't really do much for me either. I can't tell you why, because I haven't been able to answer the question for myself yet, but Sea of Thieves just doesn't do anything for me. It did not capture my attention. It still doesn't. I'm glad people are still enjoying it, but it strikes me very much as a game that you need a bunch of friends in order to enjoy, and those games don't tend to work out very well for me, even if I had access to it on the PS4, which I don't. So this doesn't really do anything for me, but I'm happy for those of you who are looking forward to it. And finally, to round out the Microsoft show, we have Tunic, which looks like a beautifully rendered love letter to the Zeldas of old. You get to play this adorable little fox man, and it is an Xbox exclusive, and therefore I don't get to play it unless I buy it on Steam if they release it on Steam, but that makes me sad. So it looks so good. If you do have an Xbox, you will probably love it, I think. That wraps up Microsoft. Overall, I feel like Microsoft had the most impact in this E3. They announced so many things. Granted, a lot of those things are cross-platform, multi-platform sort of things, and a lot of those things are being developed by other people, but their show was jam-packed full of stuff, and people seemed very happy with it. So I feel like it's probably fair to say Microsoft pulled the win with this particular E3, but I don't really think anybody had a bad showing this time around. Bethesda's up next, and we're kicking it off with Rage 2. So I already knew about Rage 2 because of the accidental Walmart leak. I was excited when it was leaked. I was excited when the teaser trailer came out. I'm a little less excited now. It looked like it was going to be a similar thing to Dying Light, where you were going to have a wasteland, you were going to be a dude in it that was powerful for reasons unknown, and you were going to get to make decisions to help influence that wasteland, empowering some factions and disempowering others. It doesn't seem like that is the case. It looks like it is indeed going to be following a similar linear storyline to the first Rage, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I really enjoyed the first Rage. It's just not what I was expecting, I guess, and I guess that's my own fault for hyping up a teaser trailer in my own head. The car combat looks much better than Mad Max's was, so there's a plus. And I like the nanobot thing, you're kind of being turned into some sort of superhuman. Via these nanotech things that you're finding, which at least does a little bit to explain why you are so important more than any other mercenary. It still looks fun, still looks wacky. I feel like the main character talks too much, but I don't know, we'll see. Maybe he'll be less chatty in the main game. Doom. I think it's Doom Infinite or something like that. I don't remember what the tagline was. It's Doom 2, and the main thing that it did was remind me that I need to go back and goddamn play Doom, because I've always loved Doom, and I completely missed the resurrection of the series, and apparently it was great. This looks like they're doing Hell on Earth, which is pretty standard for Doom 2s. I'm pretty sure that's what the general plotline for Doom 2 back on DOS was. I'm pumped. It looks great. I mean, it's just a teaser trailer, but it's going to be fun because Doom's always fun. Prey is getting some free game modes that were available the day of this announcement, which I always love when game studios do that. Like, when something is just like, here's a thing, and you can have it now. Unravel did it earlier in the evening, and I forgot to mention it. That's just super amuses me. I love when companies do that. But a bunch of free game modes that are open and ready to get now, and a paid DLC called Moon Crash, which looks super, super interesting, and is like a roguelike sort of thing. But like your deaths matter and impact how the next version of the simulation you're running is going to run, and I think that's really clever. They described the experience as infinitely replayable. I'm not sure how much that's going to hold up, but we shall see. Looks cool. Again, mainly what it did was remind me, shit, I should play Prey. I missed it entirely. Bethesda had a lot of games like that this conference. Fallout 76. 4 times the goddamn size of Fallout 4. Are you goddamn kidding me? 4 times the size? So the character models don't look a whole lot better than they did in 4, but the map size increase makes me super happy. That sounds sweet. I like the location. I'm super glad that they have definitively said, you can play this solo. You can finish this game solo. I like the idea that they're going for here. It's like, this is really early in the new timeline of the post-war Commonwealth. You were one of the first people out of a vault, and you just gotta survive. You gotta, either alone or with friends, you gotta build a settlement and endure, and I dig that. I think the multiplayer angle is actually kind of fun for Fallout as well. Like, one of the things that's always bothered me in the games, and I don't know why, because lots of RPGs do this, but it's always bugged me that it's like, you're the only one with the power to damn or save the wasteland, or the world, or whatever you want to call it, the game world you're playing in. And I always found that frustrating, because there are other vault dwellers, like, other people leave vaults, and like Fallout 4 has an entire vault that's actively open and trading with the Commonwealth. Those people also have Pip-Boys. Why can't one of them go out and be a hero too? Like, why don't you ever interact with people like that? So I kind of dig this multiplayer angle. I also think it's going to be really fun to play with friends, and build teams and actually get to like decide on play styles and that complement each other. I think it's going to be nifty. It could still disappoint, but I'm down for pretty much any Fallout experience. I love the goddamn games, so sign me up, Bethesda. Oh, one last note, though. For the love of God, Country Road needs to be available in the in-game radio, because fuck if that song isn't just, like, tied to that trailer now for me. I want it so bad. Elder Scrolls Blades. It's a phone Elder Scrolls game, and honestly, looks good. It's not for me. I drain my battery enough just doing this kind of stuff. I don't need an RPG taking up space on my phone. But well done, Bethesda, I guess. Starfield. Well, that sure was a name that they said and a picture of a thing in space. Alright. Fallout Shelter is being ported to PS4. I might actually play the damn game this time, especially if they assign trophies to it. I love me an idle game with trophies, so we'll see. Square Enix's stuff. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Fuck yes. Oh my god, fuck yes. I am so pumped for this. I can't even begin. So, I love that Laura's character model is kind of becoming a blend of reboot Laura's look and classic Laura's look as she ages as a person. Super love those tiny little touches that make her look a bit more like the prototypical, like the idea of Lara Croft. Super down with that. I love how confident she is in what she's doing and her abilities this time around. We're not starting from step 1. Like, maybe she's not the Tomb Raider yet, but she's so close, and she's gonna be by the end of this, and I love it. I goddamn love that Jonah is in the game again, and he's still by her side, and he has some trouble because he doesn't really want to believe that some of this crazy shit is real, but he also isn't gonna call Lara a liar at any point. He is with her, and I'm down. I don't care if they're just friends. I don't care if he's her boyfriend now. He looks badass, and he's a good dude, and I'm so glad that he's there. I'm also super down with the new stealth mechanic, because the previous 2 games in the reboot series seemed like they wanted you to be stealthy in many, many spots, but you really only had so many options to be stealthy. If you hadn't bought stealth upgrades early on, once you get to a certain part of the game, you just can't be stealthy anymore. And you're still basically just hoping that each of your bow shots is a headshot, and that's how you're stealthy. So like the mud camo thing, and like using a mask to hide in plain sight in town, and like the brutal combat knife executions, I'm down. Give me this. Give me this now. Babylon's Fall. Well, this trailer didn't really say anything about what the game is or what it's doing. The weird, like, tendrils of light that killed that blue thing were cool, I guess. Platinum Games makes good stuff. It'll probably be good. I just don't know what to think about it yet. Just Cause 4. Alright, so like I said before, this is looking good. This is looking better than I thought it would. The weather thing is a very interesting and I think a very smart way to go for a game that's based off of sandbox destruction. I would super love it if, like, late in the game you get, like, a weather gun. It's just like, I want a tornado to be there. I put a blizzard over there. That'd be awesome. The plot actually looks fairly intriguing. It looks like they are picking the plot threads of the Black Hand from the first 3 games, tying them all together and making them the main plot for this game, and I think that's super cool. The Black Hand has kind of set itself up really well as like a genuinely good villain at this point. They've been stockpiling like exotic technology and schematics and recruiting troops from deposed dictators and stuff like that. They should be quite powerful, and it makes sense that they would now be like an actor on the world stage rather than still being those behind-the-scenes mercenaries sort of thing. I'm down with it. The environment looks way more varied and possibly even more gorgeous than Just Cause 3, so I'm super down with that. And good goddamn is Rico looking sexier and sounding sexier than he ever has before. I don't know if we got a new voice actor, but ooh, he's spicy. It's good times. The Quiet Man. This seems odd, but I always love it when game devs experiment with stuff. This looks like an experiment that could lead to very good things. I don't know what to think about this game yet. The live action to CG gameplay cutscene swap was so very jarring during the trailer. Like, their live action stuff was shot so beautifully that when you got into the in-game graphics, the main character looked so chunky. I hope to God that when you switch into gameplay, it's silent all the time. Not even music, just it is silent. Because it looks like the gameplay chunks are going to be quite small. They've said that you're meant to be able to finish the game in one session, but I don't know what that means. Is that 10 minutes? Is that 2 hours? Is that, 6 hours? Like, how long is a session? Are you meant to play the game more than one time to do different things? Like, what? I don't know. There's not enough info yet. It's an interesting concept. I hope it goes well, but I'm still very wary currently. On to the Ubisoft. Just Dance had an absolutely super fun trailer. I'm still not going to play it. Beyond Good and Evil 2. Oh my lord. I ain't gonna lie, I've been waiting for this game for so long. I'm a little bummed that they seem to be talking about it as though it's a prequel, but that sort of confuses me, because like Jade is in the trailer, and so is Pigsy, and so is Monkey, but it's got like it's returning to that Journey to the West feel, but Jade seems to maybe be a bad guy, but again, the game is called Beyond Good and Evil, so maybe check your title, I don't know. But like they seem to know each other, but they're not on the same side, and evil Jade doesn't really look, I don't know, something in her eyes doesn't look like the Jade we know from the first game. I don't know. The trailer sold me so hard. The alpha gameplay was alpha gameplay, and I'm not going to judge the game based off that yet. It's still probably a ways out. I'm just so glad it exists. I'm very, very happy to see it here. So I'm looking forward to it. Expect to see it on stream when it comes out. Trials Rising. Looks fun. It looks like just as frustrating and challenging and satisfying to beat as any Trials before it. This looks like it's a lot more grounded. This looks a bit more like Trials Evolution and a little less like Trials Fusion. But I'm okay with that. It looks enjoyable. It looks like they are putting a major focus on larger multiplayer experiences. I'm sure it's going to be a good time. The Division 2 again. So, like I said before, I just don't care. This is not a game I'm going to be playing. But I will say, watching the press announcements that have been surrounding this thing are somewhat fascinating, because I just don't know where Ubisoft's mind is at. Like, are they listening to themselves talk? So, there's an interview that I saw a chunk of, and it's basically, the interviewing guy is like, okay, so we're going to DC, and we're fighting a corrupt government, and my character has an American flag taped on its back, and you don't think that that is a political statement? And the Ubisoft guy is like, no, we just went to DC because we want to play in another city. And it's like, I don't believe you. and I don't think you believe you either. I don't know, it's very confusing. They caught a lot of flack for the last Division because they effectively presented like a totalitarian state. It was like you're part of an unknown agency that answers to no one but the president himself. You're beholden to no law, and you can kill anyone you want. It's like, that's what secret police do. So I don't know if they just didn't learn their lesson, or if maybe the guy who's making the Division just doesn't get it. I don't know. It just kind of makes me go like, what's happening? And it doesn't really make me want to play it, so there's that. Mario plus Rabbids is getting a DK expansion, and it looks absolutely adorable and fun. I've never played the main game. It's probably something we'll pick up and play on stream at some point, because there's only so many Switch games. Yeah, it looks fun, looks cute. I've heard nothing but good things about the first, the core game, so I'm sure this will be just as good. Star Fox is going to be in Starlink. I don't know what Starlink is, so I don't care. But hey, Nintendo, maybe just give us Star Fox. I'd be down with that. You want to just give me more Star Fox? Cool. For Honor is getting an expansion. Supposedly the biggest expansion that they have had so far. It looks like the new faction is Chinese inspired. I don't know for certain, but that's what it looked like to me. The characters look cool. I just don't. No, I didn't care about For Honor when it came out, and I don't care now, and the new faction doesn't change anything for me. So good on you, For Honor. I don't care. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So I gotta say, I was ready to not like this. A lot of the gameplay changes from the old style Assassin's Creed games to Origins didn't super wow me, or at least they haven't yet. And to be totally fair to the game and to Ubisoft in general, I haven't played enough of Origins yet. I've only played it like twice. Once on stream and then once a little bit off stream, just to see if I could get more into it, and it just didn't click at the time. And that's not a fair, like, wrap up or examination of what they changed. That said, I like that they have just taken the plunge, and this is a full-fledged RPG. This is not trying to do the best of both worlds thing that it seemed like Origin was trying to do. You level up, you pick the skills you want, you strengthen them how you see fit, you assign them the way that you want, you can navigate dialogue trees so you don't have to do a set story. I like that it's so long ago that we're doing the same thing where it's like, you're not really an assassin, you predate the order, which is kind of cool. But Cassandra has got the shattered spear of Leonidas. That's a really cool like object of Eden. And at one point in the trailer, she like whacks it with her Gladius, and the Gladius like catches fire. It's so cool looking. I think it's gonna be good, because of course it will be. It's fucking Assassin's Creed. Looks good. That being said, I will definitely be playing as Cassandra because she's goddamn adorable and sweet, and I'm going to find her a nice wife, and nobody can stop me. On to Sony. And good God, did they start with a bang with The Last of Us Part 2. Holy shit. It looks so good. I have never been so tense watching a gameplay trailer before. I was just on the edge of my goddamn seat the whole way through. It looks so cool. I like that it looks like it's going to be a bit more slower paced and be a bit more actually like hiding and stealthy and striking when it's smart, rather than like kill a dude, run away, hide, run some more, pop out of hiding, kill a dude. Like it looks a bit more methodical, and I dig that. Ellie looks great. The sweet little love story with her and the girl in the like base camp is adorable. Sounds like Joel is around still and is crotchety and pissed, so that's good for Joel. Yeah, looks good. Again, what it has mostly done is remind me that, good God, I need to go play The Last of Us. Why haven't I finished it? I own the damn thing. So expect that on stream as well once we finish one of our more longer running things. Ghost of Tsushima. So this is the game that the Sekiro Shadows Die Twice kept getting confused with. I kept seeing people report either of them as samurai or ninja based game incorrectly. This looks so goddamn good. It is so pretty looking. The trailer sold me instantly. The duel between the two samurais is gorgeous among like the Japanese maple leaves. So pretty. I like that the characters each seem to have their own motivations, and sometimes someone who's willing to work with you on one thing is not willing to help you on another thing, and you're gonna butt heads. That seems really, really interesting. I don't know, it just looks so pretty, and I'm so down. Did I mention how pretty it is? It's really pretty. Also, I found it very interesting that, like, they're doing an interesting job of balancing, like, the myth of the samurai with how they actually worked, where it's like, your player character seemed very honorable when dealing with the lady samurai, but was kind of a little dick when dealing with the Mongols who he was trying to kill. The Bushido draw was super cool, but he's willing to fight dirty, and he's also willing to be very sneaky, which is a bit more accurate to how, like, the samurai class actually function. So I'm very, very down. Definitely expect that on stream at some point. Control. Whoa, that was a hell of a trailer. I've never heard of this game before its trailer at E3. It's being made by Remedy, who are the people who made Alan Wake and Quantum Break and a couple of those other sort of, like, trippy, is it reality, is it not sort of games. It looks like you're some sort of psychic badass chick and you're fighting other crazy psychic people in some sort of weird MC Escher-ass nightmare house, and I'm down. One of the things that has sold me the most is it looks like the gun she has is made out of little metal cubes, and it looks like it's firing pieces of itself that she's then calling back. Because she's like telekinetic or something like that. I think that's badass, and I can't believe I've never thought of that before. So I'm very, very interested. Well, I want to see more actual gameplay as soon as possible. Resident Evil 2's remaster looks super pretty. Looks like it might actually pull off being a horror game, which is something that Resident Evil has some trouble with. I'm not crazy into it, but I can guarantee Skibbs will be. And if it ends up being PlayStation exclusive, you can expect to see him play it on the channel probably at some point. Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay, so let's get into it. So this shouldn't be a surprise for anybody, because I think I've talked about it before. I fucking adore Kingdom Hearts. I know it isn't a flawless series, but I have had nothing but good times with basically every single game I have played. I haven't got to play all of them, and we'll deal with that in a second. But I have had a lovely time with all of them. If this is the final chapter, if this is where the story of, like, the Warriors of the Keyblade of Light end and we stop dealing with Sora, I think from what we have seen, it's going to be goddamn great. I love Sora's new redesign. He and Kairi and Riku all look still very in character and in style, but a bit older, and I dig it. Sora fights like Roxas during the, like, gameplay bits where he's, like, just, like, zipping around and doing badass shit with the Keyblade. I don't 100% know what is certainly going on in the story yet, because I missed Dream Drop Distance and I missed 2.8 remaster, which has Dream Drop in it, but I haven't seen the final prologue yet. But, like, seeing Xehanort having taken over Aqua's body is really upsetting, and that needs to be fixed. I think it's gonna look great. The graphics have improved to the point where we can go back to the Pirates world and not have to deal with the creepy, dumb-looking homunculus people. Jack looked great. So I'm really excited. I actually think the Frozen world looks really cute too. Like, little islander boy Sora being so, like, cold because he's never really experienced snow very much before. I really dig. I think it's going to be really, really cute. I'm super excited to go to the Tangled world, and Monsters Inc. Sora looks cool, and Simba is back as a summon, and little Lego Sora in Toy Story is cool. I can't lie, the thing I'm the most excited for is to see Winnie the Pooh again, because they just, like, melt my fucking heart. I'm so pumped. I'm so ready. It's going to be great. You will see it on stream. There is no doubt in my mind about that. Side note for that, I have tossed around the idea in the past of making a sort of the story of Kingdom Hearts for normal people who can't follow the madness that is the story of Kingdom Hearts. And I think now that we have a release date and we know that it's coming, and it's coming pretty soon, I'm going to try to get those out sooner rather than later. I have some research to do, obviously, to get all my ducks in a row, because it's a lot of shit. But I would like to present that to you guys and possibly a new audience with maybe some visual aids and stuff like that. So expect that in the future as well. Death Stranding. So it's a walking simulator, post-apocalyptic stealth horror thing, with babies and goosebumps and a lady who eats weird maggots. I don't know what's happening, but I don't care. Like, Kojima hooked me with the first trailer, so we're gonna play it. Like, maybe not on stream, but I'm gonna play it, so, you know, load me up with your crazy and let's see where this train goes, Kojima-sama. Like, what you got? I'm glad it's actually a game. Nioh 2. So as I said before, Nioh didn't grab me, and I'm not gonna play this one either, but I'm glad it exists. People really liked it, so good on you, Nioh guys. Spider-Man. This looks so much fun. Oh my god, this might actually finally be an actual successor to Spider-Man 2, the movie, the game. Like, if you can do what he was doing in that trailer just in New York City, and it's not mission-based, and there's a hub, and like fun things to go collect and shit like that, it is going to be awesome. If you can't do that thing, then they still haven't learned their goddamn lesson. And then the last thing from Sony is, I think it's pronounced Deracine, because it looks like it's a French word. Could be Italian, I don't know. It's being made by From Software, and it's a PSVR thing, and I have no idea what's going on, because the trailer doesn't explain a goddamn thing. It looks vaguely pretty, but I don't have a VR rig, so currently I don't care. We almost done. Okay, so that was Sony. And wrapping up the conference, we have Nintendo, and they focused pretty much on Smash, so we can shoot through most of the smaller stuff real quick, and then I can round the video out with Smash, which I'm sure you guys are going to want to know about. Super Mario Party looks interesting. Mario Party is pretty much always equal parts fun and frustrating / infuriating / friendship ending. The play style where you can kind of put the switches on a table and like interconnect them and move them around, that seems kind of cool. But I don't know if it's enough to sell me on it. I don't know, we'll see. Fire Emblem 3 Houses looks pretty decent. They've changed some stuff, which I like. I like that there's a hub world that is non-combat based. I don't know what you're supposed to do there, but it looks kind of cool. I really hope that this is a 3 protagonist thing, like you're going to deal with a lord from each house, and then by the end of the game they'll all be kind of intermingled into one force. But maybe that's not how they're doing it, but you know, regardless, I would like to play as different characters. That seems cool. I like that the named units are now accompanied by like battalions of soldiers. I think it's going to make the battles feel a lot more like actual battles rather than just like skirmishes with some mercenaries. Looks cool. And it also looks like some of the characters can do interesting stuff with their supporting soldiers, like put them in formations and send them out to attack ahead of themselves or something like that. I don't know, looks interesting. I like that the units can move around the map without moving awkwardly on the grid, but the grid is still there to help you get fine-tunement in positioning. Looks really good. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing much else to say about it. Looks like a solid first entry for Fire Emblem on the Switch. Probably going to be quite enjoyable. Fortnite. It got ported, because of course it did. It's going to be on everything. Everything that has a screen will have the Fortnite. It seems fun. Maybe this is the system I'll play it on, because I still just don't really care enough to devote the space on my PS4 to it, but you know, we'll see. Hollow Knight. So I think this might be a port from the Wii U. I don't know for certain. I will say the art style looked very, very cute and sort of endearing, and it's really cool that it's looks like it's coming with all of its DLC expansions included for free to the Switch version. That being said, it didn't really wow me. A lot of what was shown off in the trailer looked like long stretches of basically nothing happening, followed by long stretches of way too much happening, and I don't really think it's my kind of game. Splatoon news. So they moved up the Octo expansion. That's pretty cool. And they also dropped a bunch of new amiibos. That's also cool. I'm a little bummed out just because I was intending to stream the Octo expansion for you guys live when it released in July, and I can't do that now. But, you know, whatever. You got it early, so I hope you guys enjoy playing it while I'm on vacation. Okay, and now the big boy, Smash Ultimate. The far and away the bulk of Nintendo's announcements were all about this. So let's walk down it, not exactly point by point. I'll tell you what caught my eye. We're going to play it. Of course we're going to play it. We'll probably play it together as a community as well. I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing. I know some of you guys have had some gripes already, but I'll kind of walk through my piece and we'll wrap up for the day. So holy crap, every goddamn character, like every single one. They even kept the fact that Pichu shocks itself. Like, what the hell? Holy hell. That's a lot of characters. But it makes sense, I think. Especially if they're dubbing this Smash Ultimate. Like, I don't know if this is the last Smash, or if they're just going to keep updating this one. But I'm down. It's good to see them. I'm super glad that 8-player battles are coming back too, because I think those are fun. Because I have always viewed Smash as more of a casual and fun fighting game experience rather than a tournament one, even though I did play in some Smash tournaments, so there's that. My boy Roy is back, so I'm super excited for that. And Ridley, like, they brought in Ridley finally. They are making good on an April Fool's joke from a Nintendo Power from before Super Smash Bros. Melee came out. That's nuts. But I'm glad to see him. Wow, his entrance trailer was really dark. Like, it looks like he just straight up impaled Mega Man with his tail. So little bit intense. But you know, what you gonna do? He is a space pirate. On the minor changes notes, charged moves can be charged in the air now. That's really cool. And I think helps shore up a bit of a handicap that those style of characters have had for a really long time. Snake is back for those who care, obviously, because every character is back. I don't really give a crap, but I'm glad you guys are happy. I super love Sonic's new Final Smash just because it feels a little bit more in keeping with how most of the other Final Smashes work. I dig it. In fact, it seems like they changed almost all of the Final Smashes that involved you changing form and then roaming around the level, and just made them impactful screen clearers like what most of the Final Smashes are. I really like the change to Fox and Falco's Final Smashes as well. No more goddamn Landmaster Tank. Giga Bowser's new Final Smash is also super cool and very reminiscent of Yoshi's Island, which I really dig. The Leaf Trainer is available. That's super cute. Big Blue is back, which is always one of my favorite hazard levels. And there's just so many more changes that they've made that I think are going to be really cool and hopefully well balanced. We shall see. I really like that every single stage has a Battlefield and Final Destination / Omega version of itself, so that you can, if you want to do those tournament style gameplay sort of things, you can play on any stage and you don't have to just be seeing the same 2 backgrounds forever. And I would imagine that the hazards get turned off if you are playing on the Battlefield or Final version of any given stage. So that's really nifty, and I think a really good idea on their part. I really like the nerf to dodging. I like that you can't just spam dodge anymore, because again, it's not really that important on a casual level, but on a tournament level, the amount of time spent where it's just like, I dodge and you attack, and then I attack and you dodge, and blah, 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 and like so much time is just wasted on chain dodging that I like that they have nerfed it a little bit, and you steadily start to lose your invulnerability frames. I think it's a really good idea. I dig that one-on-one battles are paced a bit quicker, so that you do more damage to each other directly when you're only fighting one person. I think that makes some sense. And then finally, some people are upset about the stage select change, and I think personally it is nothing but a good thing. I know a lot of people are upset, and I think a lot of people are upset because it's just different than how it's always been, but change is usually good. Even though we as humans often don't like it. And I feel like the reason they did this is because most high-level players already have a stable of mains that they're going to use anyway. Some characters just flat aren't good on some stages. So I think it makes way more sense for you to pick the stage that everybody's going to play on, so everyone knows if their go-to guy, isn't okay on that stage and can choose accordingly. I think it's a bit more fair that way. I remember, I feel like stage selection really shouldn't be that much of a tactical move on either a casual or tournament level. I remember most of the tournaments that I played in, getting stage select priority was paramount to like winning the finals, and I just kind of think it's dumb. So I'm really actually quite happy for the change. Also, because like even on a casual level, there was more than one occasion where like everybody picked their characters and then you'd hit random on stage select and it would come up with a stage that one character is just fucked on, and it's just like, well, let's quit and get a different one. Or let's quit so I can change characters and stuff like that. So I just think this takes that muddiness out, and I'm down to see it. So yeah, that's pretty much the lot of it, guys. I may have accidentally moved some games around. It looks like I lost my Square Enix heading at some point. So some of their games might have gotten mixed into Bethesda's show somehow. I'll try to sort that out in editing, but if something is not where it's supposed to be, know that that's why. Thanks for being patient with me this week, these last week and a half, 2 weeks, just dealing with all this vacation stuff. Things have been very, very busy, but I'm very much looking forward to it. We're almost done, and we leave in a matter of hours. So, yeah, this is gonna go up on Friday. I'm recording it on Wednesday, so there'll be a little bit of time. But thanks so much, you guys. I hope you enjoyed hearing what I have to say, and I hope that this helps us avoid having the same conversation on stream like 12 times. So this is going up on Friday. Human Fall Flat episode 4 will be going up on Saturday, and Human Fall Flat episode 5 will be going up on Tuesday, and I should be back to streaming as per normal on Wednesday of next week. So I will see you guys then. Have a great weekend, and yeah, thanks guys. Bye.